Welcome everyone to Live Stream Tuesday. My name is Safrina Kadri and I'm the founder of Feng Shui and Prosper. If you are new to me, I have been a classical Feng Shui consultant for the past 10 years and I've been helping residential, retail and commercial clients activate the most prosperous energy as possible in their homes and in their business. And obviously in Feng Shui, we don't only talk about activating for money. When we talk about activating auspicious energy or activating for prosperity, that also includes health and relationship. So today we are talking about the Feng Shui of a high-rise building and how is it similar to landed properties, as well as how it is different to landed properties. And I'm going to try, because last time when I tried to share my desktop, it didn't work too well. It really messed up my audio. So I'm just gonna go old school. I'm just gonna start writing on paper. Let me know if you can't see it, but we're gonna try something. So, let's talk about Feng Shuiing for a landed property and high-rise buildings. What is the main similarity? The main similarity is how to determine the facing. Now, if you guys are still doing fast food Feng Shui, you're probably gonna be a little bit confused by this. My suggestion is to go back to my older videos in terms of demystifying what is real Feng Shui, which is what I am trained in, versus what is fast food Feng Shui. Now, most of you guys have heard me say it in almost all of my videos because, especially in the English language Feng Shui world, a lot of the information that is online, that's in magazines, that's in books, obviously, this is my observation, like 90 to 95% of them are not true Feng Shui. It's not classical Feng Shui. And so most of them, if you follow, let's say, the East-West method, or if you follow the Black Hat sect, they don't talk about the facing of the building. Now, those of you guys who are studying classical Feng Shui, those of you guys who have taken my annual webinar where we go over determining the facing, there's a few things to it, right? For a landed property, most of the time, the facing is determined by the front door, most of the time. There's always that unique situation where the facing is in a different part of the building. Now, I'm just going to, so where high-rise buildings are concerned, that makes determining the facing even harder. Now, backtrack a little bit. Why do we need to determine the facing, for one? There's two information you need, actually, in order for you to calculate the energy of a space. One is facing. Sorry, I'm just going to write here. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see with the lighting that I have here. There are two pieces of information that you need to start with when you're doing real, true Feng Shui. One is to determine the facing of the space, and the second one is to determine the period of the space. Now, between a high-rise building and a landed property, the facing is actually the same. How we determine the facing will be the same. How we determine the period will be different, and we'll talk about the period in a bit. But generally, for any space, you determine the facing by figuring out what is the most yang energy. The majority of the time, but not 100% of the time, is where the main entrance is. In my school, we also look at other factors, such as where is the street address, where even if you're surrounded by a few different streets, what is the most yang one? What is the busier street, right? Or if you have, actually natural features such as rivers or waterfalls or whatever, that would come into play as well. Other things that would make a side of the building, the facing, is also other yang factors such as noise, such as what's brighter, what is generally like a more obvious feature, okay? So whether you're a house or if you're a high-rise building, determining the facing follows the same guideline, okay? So that's the first one, okay? Whatever structure you're looking at, when you're starting to do Feng Shui, determining the facing, you're looking at the same guidelines. Okay. Second one, second piece of information for you to have before you can calculate the energy of any space is to determine the period of the space. Now, in Feng Shui, it's all about energy, right? We talk about permanent energy, annual energy, monthly energy, daily energy. Now, in classical Feng Shui, there is this term that basically says a period which spans the 20-year time frame. Right now, those of you guys who are learning true Feng Shui, what period are we in? We are in period 8. Okay? Basically, sorry, I should have done this earlier. Right now, we are in period 8, meaning, and by the way, many schools have different ways of determining period. In my school, in my Feng Shui lineage, we determine it by the day you move in to the house, not by the construction year, not by the year the first tenant moves in. It's by the year you moved in. So period 8 is from 2004 until 2024. Okay? Meaning, if you moved into your home between 2004 and 2024, then now you have the second portion of your second piece of information. You are in period 8. Okay? However, this is the difference if you are in a high-rise building, if you're in a condo or in an apartment. If, for instance, if you hold on. If you move in between 1984 till 2004, and the cutoff is February, okay? I should say. Okay. Sorry. Period 8, going back to period 8, it starts February 2004 till 2024. So if you move in 2004, if it's February onwards, you're period 8. But if you move into your building between 1984 till February of 2004, you are period 7. So the difference now is if you are in a building and that building has been around for a while, let's say it was built 1990, for instance, okay? Here's the difference. People who moved in period 7 and they never moved out, their permanent energy will be based on period 7 calculation. Whereby in the very same building, someone who just moved in last month, for instance, will be in period 8. So they would be in the same building, but there are potentials for 2 different sets of periods. And in fact, when I did my Feng Shui certification course, when I was teaching 20 amazing students just last March, they were actually in my building. And that building was built late 1970s or 1980s. So it was built in period 6. And I, in fact, know of a few tenants who have been there since the beginning. So in that one building, we have people their units are based on They have the same facing. Okay. Everyone in my building has the same facing. However, in that one building, we have 3 periods. We have people who moved in period 6, people who moved in period 7, and I moved in period 8. Again, different schools would have different theories to this, but in obviously my great grandmasters who have done their case studies and everything, and even in my minuscule 10 years as a consultant going through all these case studies doing my clients' homes, I've seen that determining the period based on the move-in day of the person actually living there is more accurate compared to if you were to do the period based on the construction year of the building. Okay? So that is the main difference. I know those of you who are not exposed to classical feng shui, this is just going to be very confusing and you're going to be very mad at me. I get a lot of people who are angry at me on YouTube because a lot of the information that I share is just so different from what they've read up until this point. So I am sorry if it confuses you, but this is classical feng shui we're talking about. Okay? So that is the main thing. The similarity in feng shuiing between a landed property and a high-rise building, the similarity is you deal with the facing, you determine the facing the exact same way. However, the difference is determining the period is different. You're not going to lump everyone in one building under one period. Okay? So that's the main point that I wanted to do for today. And so when you're house hunting, for instance, it's so easy, it's much easier to determine the quality, the feng shui quality of a home, because you're only dealing with the house, right? And with homes, naturally, it's easier to renovate as well. However, it's a little bit different for a condo building, for instance, okay? Or if you're looking for, if it's, let's say, a commercial building, like an office building, and you're wanting to look for a unit to rent for your business, it's different. So here's what I do when I'm doing my consult for a whole building. So let's say, case study here, okay? Here, we're looking at a building that is period 8, and it's facing north 1, okay? I'm not going to go through north 1, north 2, north 3. You guys can Google 24 Mountain to see what north 1 faces. And for period 8 buildings facing north 1, the money energies are in the south, northeast, north, and the center. There's 4 money corners for period 8 buildings or homes facing north 1. And here's you guys can see this properly, right? Hopefully. Now, if this is the whole building, this is the whole condo, okay? For instance, this is the whole condo, and this is the energy for the whole building if they are period 8. Okay, so let's say let's just make it easier. Let's say this is a newly built condo. So everyone in this building is going to be period 8. Let's say it just finished building last year and people started moving in last year. Okay, so everyone in that building is period 8 because it's a brand new building. Now this whole condo would have, let's say, as an example, 3 entrances. Let's say there's the main entrance here in the north. There's a side entrance, let's say here, and then let's say at the back, let's say there's parking spaces at the back and whatever other amenities at the back. So there's a back door as well that gets a lot of use. So this is the energy for the whole building, the whole condo. If you are wanting to buy a unit in a condo or in like an office building, okay, let's say we're just gonna keep it simple. Let's say we're just gonna do a 9x9 grid, okay? So let's say the center, as is most buildings, the centers, they have, for instance, the elevators, okay? And then around it, there's 8 units per floor, as an example. Now, for this building, remember, period 8 facing north 1, the auspicious money energy is in the north, northeast, center, and the south. So if you are moving in there permanently, you want to look at the permanent energy. Again, this is, so for all the 8 units here, let's say if this is a business building, right? A commercial building. You want your business headquarters there. The ones that would be more financially auspicious for your business would be the ones in the north, northeast, and the south. Okay? And the people who are in the other units, right? The east, southeast, west, northwest, and even southwest, even though they have the same permanent energy, because they're in a different location of a different direction of the whole floor, then they're lacking a little bit in terms of the auspiciousness. Obviously, we're not looking at the individual layout as yet, right? But just from a high level view, you want to see if you can get these units that are stronger financially. Okay? How are you guys following me so far? So far, okay? All right, so this is the permanent energy. So let's say you're in this building and there's, like I said, 3 entrances, right? But you normally use this entrance here. Do you tell me what's happening to the Southwest this year in 2019? What is the annual energy in 2019 for the Southwest? Put your comments there. I want to see if you guys know. What's happening in the Southwest this year for 2019? Flying star wise. Anyone? I'm not seeing any comments here. For 2019, the Southwest, Maria got it. Elizabeth's got it. It has the annual number 5. Rosaline got it. Diana's got it. It has the annual number 5, which in Flying Star Feng Shui is one of the most negative flying star numbers. General challenges. Wherever the number 5 flies in, its general challenges can be illness, can be stress, can be loss, can be just bumping in, feel like you're hitting your head against the wall all the time. So let's say you're in a building now. I think someone actually asked this in last week's live stream, but it's a good one, so I'm going to repeat it. So let's say this is the permanent energy of the building. Permanently, the southwest door is okay to use. However, this year, the number 5 flying into the southwest, even if, let's say, you park the car somewhere here, see if you can use the other 2 doors. Now, I know the number 2 is in the northeast, but for me, this is my personal preference. I know other consultants might not agree. The number 2 is actually not so bad anymore as we go into period 9. But the number 5 is still an issue. Okay, if you're still worried about the number 2 in the northeast, then fine, use the north, right? So, for instance, even if So if this is your building and you happen to have the southwest unit, it doesn't matter what floor, you happen to have the southwest unit and you're using the southwest door to go in and out of the building, not your unit, your building, then I would suggest that you use the other doors for the building. Are you guys getting this? So in terms of buildings are better because most of the time you have more than one entrance to play around in. If you want to delve in even deeper, you follow the monthly flying star changes, right? You can definitely do it that way. And I can tell you, people who use the afflicted doors do feel it more. Okay, do feel the challenges more than others in the building who use the better doors. All right. So any questions, you guys? I actually didn't prepare too much information. I was more wanting to just take questions around high-rise buildings. But that is that is pretty much how it is when you're looking at the feng shui of a unit in relation to the whole building. Okay. Kim is asking, what if the building is curved as half oval shape or wide V shape? Yeah, or missing sectors. How do we section to 9 grids? If it's like a V shape, it's not going to have 9 sectors. It's going to have missing corners, right? So if it's a missing corner, hopefully it's a negative corner. So let's say, for instance, if we go back to this, let's say this is the whole building, but then the southwest is missing. That's good for the year because that's afflicted for the year. You're not missing out on anything. There is in my school, and those who have taken my course will attest to this. In my school, there is less chances of a missing corner. It still happens. It definitely still happens. Like I look at the condo layouts here in Toronto. Some of them are just so irregular. There is no way for you to give it nine grids. No way at all. So those irregular layouts will have missing corners. Okay. Let me check. No questions over here on YouTube. You guys doing okay over there? And all right. No other questions pertaining to building feng shui? Because that's all I'm taking today. Yvonne is saying my condo is rectangular. If rectangular, then you're fine. If we're talking about missing corners still, then you're fine. There's no issues to that at all. So I'm going to just leave this here. If there are any other questions, feel free to just comment under the video. Doesn't matter if you're on Facebook or YouTube. I will try to answer them as best and as soon as I can. And thanks so much for joining me today. For those of you who want to be given a heads up the next time I do a live stream, please make sure that you join my mailing list. Just go to fengshuiandprosper.com, join my mailing list. That way I email you about a day or two prior to my live stream so that you get a heads up in terms of when I'm coming on and what topic I will be covering that day. And if you're not currently subscribed on my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit the notification button so you get notified when I go live next time. And if you're watching me on Facebook, make sure you follow me on Facebook and also change your notification to see on top or something. I forgot what the notification setting is. But anyway, there is a way for you to see first. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, go to my Feng Shui and Prosper page, and in the newsfeed, just put C first. That way you definitely won't miss any of my posts on Facebook. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you guys hopefully in 2 weeks. Take care. Hello, this is Irregular from Feng Shui and Prosper, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do try to put out a brand new video every week. So if you subscribe, then you can make sure that you don't miss out on any of the other content that will be coming out your way.